Hey guys, unit1138 here, and in a few days, or I guess today, depending on when I upload, my account is going to turn 9 years old. 9 years of being on DeviantArt, and a while ago I had a fun time sort of running through and doing a commentary on my old Mental Rift comic, and so I thought, hey, it might be fun to go back and look at the era of ancient unit drawings and maybe comment on that a little bit. But it has been around 7 years, going on 8 since I made these things. So I don't know how much I'll have to say, but hopefully this will go well. So to kick things right off the back, we have this horrible drawing, Let Us Love, the very first thing I ever posted. It's such a such an old drawing, but at that time in my life, Auto-Tune the News was real popular on YouTube, and as I said in the little thing down here, I did not see any fan art on DA, even though DA has fan art of everything. So I was like, I'm gonna draw some myself, and oh my goodness, it's really bad, and it's really dumb, and that's why it's bad. But let's just move on. And then I wrote my first ever TG story, Camping TG. When you read all these captions, a lot of them are a little bit too short, little light on content, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's like a lot of them are the same. Oh no, I'm a girl now. I'm either in love with it or I'm mortified. And I want to do something more about, the mind games involved with that and have a story with a little twist to it, if you would. And a lot of my, transformation stories kind of happen like that. I'll see an idea that someone else has done, and I'll be like, hey, I wanna do that in my own way. And then, at this point in time, I was just drawing for fun, pencil and paper. So we see some Star Wars and some Full Metal Alchemist fan art. This drawing is really nice. I copied this right off the show, and I've never been able to get foreshortening that sweet since. But yeah, I've improved artistically in many other ways, so that's good. And then I decided to try my own TG comic since, the caption, well, the story went so well. Why not branch out? That's November of the same year. 6 years, 11 months, and 1 week ago. Nice. And this is, yeah, I don't know. It's really bad, but it's also really old, so I wouldn't say it's cringe-worthy. I certainly think it's a funny idea. It might be worthy of, a modern-day comic of mine if I can get the time to do that. But, you know, a full budget modern-day drawing of mine takes so much more time than it used to back in the day when it was pencil and paper. But yeah. Of course, I did not know comic layout very well, so we have like these awkward two close-up shots. It's like not quite a pin-up. It's just sort of, it looks pretty weird. And then you have the stop sign to tell you to read down these first. I'd try to find a much more elegant solution to that, just like as opposed to completely interrupting the reader's flow here. The neat thing about this comic is that I also uploaded the two little draft phases for it, so you can see like I just started out in a sheet of paper, sketched this out, and I was like, okay, well now that I know what I want the layout to more or less be, let's draw it in more defined, and then the final good scan, penciled and inked and all that jazzy stuff. This is the first request I ever got. At the time I was super psyched about it. This was spring 2013. But I later found out that this guy went around requesting Bonnie Wright captions from like everybody. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess it's not really as special as I assumed it was. But at the time, I was psyched. I've kind of been a little naive, too much so on the internet when it comes to things like that, I'm afraid. And then, lo and behold, this is when we're really starting to get into the good stuff. This is when I got Toon Boom at home. This is like, I'm not sure how much of my personal life I want to share, but I used Toon Boom at school, and then I got it at home, that following start of the summer, end of spring of 2013. And so we have our first ever TG comic. I did not have, well, digital TG comic. I did not have a sketching tablet yet, pen and tablet. So this is all drawn with the mouse and maybe some in-program tools, but it doesn't look like I used any other than the squares to get the panels. That's a shame. That could have saved me some time. I'm stubborn. I do things the hard and slow way, even when I shouldn't. Even to this day, it's something I'm trying to not do so much. But here we see the introduction of, I'm not sure what to even call them, but brown-haired guy and blonde-haired guy, who are kind of a reoccurring theme in my drawings, to be perfectly honest. They show up from time to time in different forms. You know, it's a little bit design each time, but it's like he always still has the little whoop in his brohawk, whatever you call that. Faux hawk? I can't remember these days. But, yeah. One thing I don't really like about this comic is how much their faces change panel to panel. It's like, you know, drawing the same exact face every time is absurd and it wouldn't even look good. But, like, he's got this such rounded chin here, his face is kind of scrunched up, and then the very next one, his eyes are super high, mouth super low, nose is really long. It's like, it barely even looks like the same guy. I mean, the only reason you know is because there's only 2 characters in the comic, but I would absolutely try to work against that. It gets better as the comic goes on. He has crazy expressions, but then he normalizes a bit, but it's a little ridiculous. And then we have, this is when I did get my drawing tablet, and so much like how I got Toon Boom and I was like, yeah, I'm energized. I want to use this to make a digital comic. I got my pen and tablet. I was like, yeah, I want to do it again, but now I'm hand drawing it as opposed to using the mouse. This font choice is something that begins with an A. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but I just used it because it's literally the first font because it starts with A. So, you know, that's not so good. I should probably try harder. I'd try harder now, but, you know, back in the day I should have made a conscious choice about the font. That's part of the comic. It's both images and words here. But this one turned out a lot better. It did worse in the views than the first one. I'm not sure why. 13,000 versus 28,000. Whoa. Even though I don't know. Maybe it's just because the first comic is such a short, wrapped in a bow sort of thing, and this one's a lot longer and more rambly. But I'm very, very proud of this at the time. I like to, even today, I kind of like to start a comic with an establishing shot. The city's melting in the heat. They got their friend who's trying to think cool, but he's wearing a parka and is just stinking it up with his sweat. I like this joke. That seems like good comedic timing. The pinups aren't too good. I thought they were the jam at the time, but looking back, it's like, oh, yeah, that's not so good. And then here we see the start of my overly jagged eyeshadows that I was doing at the time. And some lines that aren't the cleanest, but what can you do? Looks like he made her banana split. Yeah! The background is just a gradient tool, as you can see. We have flat colors because shading is a pain and should really be saved. It's sort of the same attitude I have now. And I came up with so many, you know, CSI one-liners. I made a whole second comic devoted to them. So let's go through this. Maybe this will be entertaining. Looks like her ice cream came without nuts. Yeah! It sounds like she lost her marbles. Yeah! He's about to get his. Just desserts. Yeah! Ice cream. Sounds more like she screamed. Yeah! Jeez, there's so many of these. Oh well, I knew what I was getting into when I started this. I just didn't realize quite how bad it was. They say ice cream goes right to the hips. Yeah! For a woman, she sure has some balls. Yeah! Seems their friendship hit a rocky road. Yeah! Rocky Road is a flavor of ice cream. I'm not sure how widespread that is throughout the country, but it's a thing here. She ordered a cone but got 2 scoops. I like that one because it's a boob joke. I have the mind of a 13-year-old. It looks like I lost my sunglasses. Fah! And you see the sunglasses there. It's pretty good. Pretty fun comic at the time. I had lots of fun making it, and it's fun to revisit it. And then I covered this drawing in the thing about Mental Rift. I have my aspirations for a long-running comic series inspired by Mental Rift and alike. That girl, she does good stuff. Mirrors Cycle and Is It Summer Yet? I'm into them. We have some more of these darn picture captions I was doing at the time. You know, not the best use of my account, but they still get views even to this day. But I guess it's whatever. Not really so into that. More Full Metal Alchemist fan art, more just kind of random drawings in Toon Boom. Just kind of feeling it out at this point in my artistic cycle. Just I'll just do something occasionally for fun, and it didn't really get much more ambitious than that. I do have these two animations I made that are the exact opposite. They are ambitious, but those are really bad. Like, I don't feel these two are cringe. I know what they look like. I haven't looked at these in ages. I'd kind of rather just forget them. They're really cringe. And then we have this drawing. This isn't very relevant by itself, but if I work through all the different phases of my account, we'll look at that at some point. And then okay, I want to make sure because that was showing 2 pages on 1 page. DeviantArt kind of bugs out like that. But yeah, this should be around spring. Don't know why I clicked on spring 2014. So this is when I'm working on Mental Rift. I'm just kind of doing a few traditional sketches in my free time because that's I'm drawing so many digital pages. It's kind of nice to work traditionally from time to time. Yeah, it's okay. And then here we have my last caption with a picture or somebody else's drawing. Because after a certain point, it was like, this is my account. I wanna do stuff that I've drawn, and I can work so much more with the medium. But it would be a while before I really started getting into the groove with that. And so then somewhere around here at this time, towards the end of spring, Mental Rift comes, it runs its course, goes to its conclusion, and then at the end, I remake that sequence that inspired it to just kind of cap it off. And then we just kind of have a trickle in of a few final drawings. Another really good Toon Boom comic, a little Star Wars parody. And I guess this is where I would say the era ends. Mental Rift is over, and then just kind of mellow out for a bit, I guess I would say, after going for that comic. So, yeah, that's the little brief commentary and rundown of ancient unit drawings. When we pick up, if I make more of these, go up to the present, we'll start with spring 2014 in this one. All right. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.